Hey, so welcome to my video on how to make $400 a week doing casual work. So that might sound kind of out there, but rest assured I'll explain how to get that done in this video and I'll explain what the benefits are. So firstly, I just want to say that this idea of job stacking, which this video is entitled, it's called Job Stacking, the technique of making $400 a week doing casual job. Job stacking is great for students and it's great for people in between jobs, and it's great if you just don't have a lot of time to commit to a full-time job, but you still want to get some extra income. Let's say you're an actor or something and there's not a lot of work. It's great for those sort of professions. So yeah, without further ado, we'll get into it. Oh, we are rolling. Cool. Okay, so to start off with, I just want to explain what I mean by job stacking. So job stacking is where you have a bunch of casual jobs. Let's say you have several jobs all kind of stacked on top of each other, meaning that you're hired by several different casual employers, and you take work as it comes from each of the employers. Obviously, if it's a casual job, by definition, you don't have to take on any work if you don't want to. And likewise, you can take on as much work as they can give you, if that is a possibility for you. So yeah, that's basically how it works. In a nutshell, you have several casual jobs and you choose between which ones, and that way, by having several casual jobs, you'll get a constant stream of work that you don't have to commit to, but you can take on if you want. So yeah, that's that explained. Okay, so now I'm just going to get into how you have to stay organized with this kind of technique. As you can tell, having several casual employers, up to 5 or 7 even, I have 7, it takes a lot of organization. But fortunately, the platforms that a lot of these employers use, it is generally online and it's calendar based, so you can see when the shifts are. You can apply for them and then you can match it up with your own calendar, and you can apply for ones that you're available for only. And yeah, that way you don't double up on shifts, and you can also just choose which times and which days you'd like to do. And related to that, I guess it's important to note, it's important to share what the actual work will be like. In my experience, it's a lot of these event companies and marketing agencies, they tend to hire a lot of casual employees because as the nature of events is that they happen every now and then. So for these event companies and marketing agencies, they don't want to hire people full-time or even part-time for work that only comes casually. So that is why these jobs exist on a casual basis in the first place. And yeah, a lot of their work you will be doing is event-based or like promotions-based as well. For example, I've done a bit of work for Samsung and Lime Scooter actually. Those have both been really fun to work with. And yeah, with Samsung it was showing off the Samsung S10 at a mall. And again, that's a casual thing because the launch only happens. They only launch a phone twice every year. And yeah, with Lime Scooter it's the same thing. There's only events every now and then. So yeah, a lot of the work will be that kind of stuff, and it can be really fun. Alright, so if you're a bit hesitant about what I'm saying, that's fair enough. I mean, it's definitely not for everyone. This method of finding work, especially if you have, let's say, a family, I wouldn't recommend this if you have a lot of people to look after, because there is risk involved. You need to have some sort of you need to have some sort of, I'm thinking of it, some sort of backup, some sort of financial backup if work doesn't come your way. But for people like students or people like actors that are just looking after themselves and they've got a bit of financial padding there, it's great. So I'll just run through some of the positives first, and then we'll get into the negatives. So firstly, there is a lot of variety. As explained before, I've worked for Samsung, Lime. There's with events, you're always at different events and that sort of thing. So that's fairly straightforward. It's pretty easy to understand. Secondly, the more jobs you have, the more hours you'll likely get, which is good because more money is good. Don't know what else to say to you about that one, unless you don't like money, in which case don't watch this video. Thirdly, this is a really important one as well. You'll be making connections with a lot of different people, because your work is always with different people. Let's say you don't like the person you're working with on one day, chances are that you're working with them again is quite slim. And likewise, same applies for someone you do like, but if it's someone you do like and you want to hang out with them more or work with them more, you can get their contact number and then organize something there. And these connections can be valuable, not just in terms of friendship, even though that's important. Finding acquaintances can help you get set up in other jobs or other professions. So yeah, always be on the lookout for that, but don't go out of your way to I guess, to leech off people. You don't want that. So number 4 in terms of positives is that there's a lot of flexibility afforded. Obviously, because you don't have to accept any shifts, you can say, nah, no thanks, and then that's fine. Like if you want to have a holiday, you don't have to apply for leave because you just don't apply for any shifts. So it works well in that regard. Number 5, you get different skills, so this is another great advantage. Let's say, I don't have any good examples on me at the moment, but let's say my job at Lime was to ride around on a scooter, so now I'm skilled at that. And that sounds menial, but there are instances where developing new skills through the work you do does come in handy. So that's something to bear in mind. And also pay. So a lot of these jobs, especially where I live in New Zealand, they pay above minimum wage at around $20 New Zealand an hour, which is roughly 16 or 15 US dollars. Depends where you are, you have to do the conversion on that. So yeah, they do pay slightly above your minimum wage that you might have in your country, just because it is a casual job and you don't have guaranteed hours. So for the hours they do want you to work, they do want you to be there. So there's greater pay incentive to show up. So yeah, we'll get on to negatives. Okay, there's also a few downsides, obviously. I think we've touched on a couple before, but I'll just go through some others. Obviously, you're not going to really get the chance to develop a career. Let's say you want to become a real estate agent. Doing this on the side, it's doesn't really afford you any career growth. It's not really work experience in the professional fields as such. So if you're a uni student, you do have to bear in mind that to set you up well for those jobs in the professional services, you will have to get some experience in those fields and not rely purely on this as your work experience. Secondly, in my experience, there has been times where there has been no consistency as such. So let's say one week I have 40 hours of work lined up and the next week 0 hours. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't ask for more hours because that's just what's there. So you have to be prepared for when there are weeks that have nothing. That doesn't come often. I guess one of the reasons I'm filming this video is because I don't have work this week, which isn't a bad thing because I'm still a student. I'm not a full-time employment, but it would have been nice to have work this week. But in saying that, I know that in the future I'll have heaps of work coming up, so it's nothing too major for someone like me. But yeah, for other people, you might need to bear that in mind. And also, I guess, again, going back to the connections thing, you might meet someone really cool and then never work with them again. Again, that's the nature of this work. It is kind of touch and go. So if you do meet someone really cool, get their contact and make sure you apply for the same shifts and that sort of thing. Also, I think the final downside, which isn't a huge one, but it can be annoying for some people, is the timings that the shift takes on. So some shifts, because it is events work, you'll be working, sometimes you'll be asked to work from like 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. That doesn't happen that often, but you have to bear in mind that some of the hours are not conventional. For example, I had a job. I had a job that was ongoing within the casual realm of things that started at 7 a.m. and ended at 12:30. So if you're not prepared to get up at 5:30 for something, bear in mind that you won't be able to take on as many shifts. Not everything's like this. It's more of an exception than the rule, but there will be times when the shift timings are a bit funny, and you'll just have to either deal with that and take on the work, or miss out on work. Yeah. So you're probably wondering how this can all be done. It depends on where you live. Obviously, I know how to do this in New Zealand. It's fairly straightforward. But if you're in other countries, it might be a bit different. But from my experience, what helps to get these kind of casual jobs is to search up events agencies, marketing agencies, or promotions jobs in your area, or your region, I should say. And just see which ones are done on a casual basis. And the ones that are on a casual basis and pay slightly above your minimum wage, they'll probably be the ones you want to be after. Because anything other than that will lead to probably a part-time job, which is not the point of this that's not the point of this way to organize work. So yeah, I've got more information in my blog on my website. You can check that out in the description below. But for now, that's it. Don't know what else to say. Right?